Welcome to Strip Coverlet, where we squeeze the bigger picture out of literature. I'm Adrian Ford, and we are here for another poetry discussion, which will appear in two playlists here on the channel. Number one being the poetry discussion playlist, number two being the Robert Frost playlist. The poem in question today is one. Look, here's one of the things that I have come to love about Robert Frost. Number one, I'm getting older, I'm getting more crotchety, and I'm liking fewer things. That's Robert Frost. That's Robert Frost in a nutshell. That's what Robert Frost does. So it's good enough for me. But also, Robert Frost finds poetry the same way that Charles Bukowski found poetry. Little fragments of life that there's something poetic in. You just have to tease it out, and all of a sudden, it's a poem. You have to find that little moment. You have to find the small irony or whatever it is that is going on in life, and it becomes poetry that is very applicable to real life. You can take the things that you quote unquote learn in Robert Frost poetry and apply them. But much less so, I would say, than Emily Dickinson. And look, I'm here to defend Emily Dickinson until the day is no more. But with Emily Dickinson, what you have to do is you have to intellectualize everything that you have on the page, you get on the page, intellectualize it, and then process it before you can use it in life. I died for beauty, but was scarce adjusted in the tomb when one who died for truth was lain in an adjoining room. I have to bring in a definition of truth, a definition of beauty, and then digest the whole poem to see, do I agree with this? Are truth and beauty the same thing, right? So Robert Frost finds moments that offer some poeticism, that offer some irony from real life, and presents them on the page in that way. The poem in question today is known as Mending Wall, and it reads as such. Today is gonna be the day that they're gonna throw me back to you. I had to. Something there is that doesn't love a wall, that sends the frozen ground swell under it, and spills the upper boulders in the sun, and makes gaps even two can pass abreast. The work of hunters is one thing. I have come after them, and made repair where they have left not one stone on a stone. But they would have the rabbit out of hiding to please the yelping dogs. The gaps, I mean, no one has seen them made or heard them made, but at spring mending time we find them there. I let my neighbor know beyond the hill, and on a day we meet to walk the line and set the wall between us once again. We keep the wall between us as we go. To each the boulders that have fallen to each, and some are loaves and some are nearly balls. We have to use a spell to make them balance. Stay where you are until our backs are turned. We wear our fingers rough handling them. Oh, just another kind of outdoor game. One on a side. It comes to little more. There where it is, we do not need the wall. He is all pine, and I am apple orchard. My apple trees will never get across and eat the cones under his pines, I tell him. He only says, good fences make good neighbors. Spring is the mischief in me, and I wonder if I could put a notion in his head. Why do they make good neighbors? Isn't it where there are cows? But here there are no cows. Before I built a wall, I'd ask to know what I was walling in or walling out, and to whom I was like to give offense. Something there is that doesn't love a wall that wants it down. I could say elves to him. But it's not elves exactly, and I'd rather he said it for himself. I see him there, bringing a stone grasped firmly by the top in each hand, like an old stone savage armed. He moves in darkness, as it seems to me, not of woods only and the shade of trees. He will not go behind his father's saying, and he likes having thought of it so well. He says again, good fences make good neighbors. So, what are we to take from this poem? This could very well have been a moment in Robert Frost's life. Whether or not he is the speaker in the poem or the crotchety neighbor that's saying, hey, good fences make good neighbors, we may never know. A fence is a wall between us, right? It's a barrier. The same way that sometimes we don't share everything. Our speaker says there is no great sin if we don't have this fence. My apple trees will not come into your yard to eat your pine cones. Your pine cones won't come over here to pick off one by one like chickens. My apples. And the fence has already started falling down. We don't share everything with each other, but we do share some things, right? The fence doesn't have to be all that complete, does it? This barrier between individuals. But as neighbors, they go putting it back up, stone by stone, wherever it has fallen. And the only thing that really gets repeated in this poem is that phrase, and it's a cliche. I mean, it's an age old saying, good fences make good neighbors. But why? Why would good fences make good neighbors? They seem to like each other plenty. They are working hand in hand to rebuild this fence. It need not be so. But our speaker here has to chide, has to put that question out there. Why? You know, why do good fences make good neighbors? There's another old phrase that this makes me think of. Everybody dies alone. Everybody dies alone. Think of the implications of that. Sure, maybe you have a large, loving family who will be surrounding your bedside at the time of your expiration. Everyone is there when you die, but you go alone. Not everyone else is on their way. Maybe, unfortunately, there's 5 of you in a car, and all of you do go at the same time. You're going alone to find out what's on the other side. There are some things that are inherently selfish, that are inherently of the self. The idea of sharing everything with anyone is kind of foreign. No matter how close you are, there are things that you will not share with someone else, and that is necessary, right? Do you ever think about the small things in your character that would make someone close to you recoil? They don't have to be anything particularly nefarious. Your your guttural reaction when someone cuts you off on the highway, the first thing that comes out of your mouth when you're driving alone and someone darts right in front of you. What is it? Do you want everyone? And don't even consider the person closest to you. Do you want everyone knowing the words that come out of your mouth in those moments? Probably not. You want your grandmother knowing those things? So all you have to do is start there, right? Your ugliest moments of anger and your boss. probably those two things need not be mixed, right? All you have to do then is take it down by degree. What's the next to nastiest thing you think? And the next to most important person doesn't know you think those things, right? There are infinite degrees of this thing. Your ugliest moments, your moments of anger, your moments of bitterness, maybe the ones that you don't even control. Well, there's arguments to be had that you don't control yourself in those moments of anger either. We don't have free will, right? There are arguments of that as well, but that's not what I'm talking about. All I'm talking about, all that I really mean, is that there are things that you don't want everyone in your life to know about you. Moments, moment to moment, thoughts, dreams. Why would a neighbor be any different? Is this metaphor? Is this saying, good fences make good neighbors? Is that cliche good only for neighbors? You have walls, you have fences between yourself and your boss, yourself and your coworkers, yourself and your spouse. You have barriers between you and everyone. I think that what the poem is saying, really more than anything, is accept someone's barriers when they put them up, even if they seem silly to you. That's all I have for this poetry discussion. If you like or appreciate what it is that I do here on the channel, hitting the like button really does help me out, as it tells YouTube to share this video with other literature lovers. And if you find yourself here by chance but not design, consider hitting the subscribe button, because literature is the only thing that I talk about on this channel, dropping multiple videos every single week, and I hope to have you back for the next one.